The call to the battle is here. 25 top iRacing drivers are about to embark in a season of none other. Season 6 strength of field hovers just around 4,000. You don't get that in any 305 official race. These drivers want this season more than any season in the 305 Outlaw Series. Big-time names are back this season, including your Season 5 champion, Sean Stevens, and Season 4 champion, Jason Randolph. Will one of these two be back on top this season, or will another driver find success? Zach Dykstra could be the one to watch and may be hungry for a championship in only his second season. Jason Nygaard has proven he can park his machine in victory lane. Can he be the one that comes away with the title this season? Or Mad Max Stanball and his teammate Daniel Burkhart could be the team this season to put Team Double Deuce in their place after being so dominant last season. Let's not forget about our new drivers for Season 6, Tyler Street, that has some real-life racing experience winning the Ohio Valley Sprint Car Association Championship last season. Coulter West, part of Team LGR, and we know their success. Finally, the real question. Will the two pro drivers be too tough to beat, or will we see experience in Miller Time Motorsports pay off? We have never seen a new driver enter into the 305 Outlaw Series and win it all. The competition is extremely tough. Clayton Tilley and Ross Kaiser, the two pro drivers, look to flex their muscles this season. Welcome to Season 6 Miller Time Motorsports 305 Outlaw Series. Hello and welcome back into Studio 8 for the pre-race show. I'm excited to get Season 6 started again. And I can't say this, but it's crazy to think that we are starting our third season of broadcasting and our sixth season of Miller Time Motorsports. I look back at Season 1 of Miller Time Motorsports. I know it was like forever ago, but it's back on September 13th, 2020. That's when I first started with Miller Time Motorsports. Chris and Steve, they probably didn't think that we would be where we're at today, and here we are in Season 6, the best season and probably the most anticipated season of all of the seasons, because we have two World Pro drivers plus several other very very good drivers out there for tonight. So without further ado, we've got Byron Gay and we got Chris Miller. How you guys doing today?
I mean, it's Miller Time Sunday. It's been a while since we've actually been able to say that. It feels great to be back. Apparently, I don't remember how to broadcast since I left the channel and came back, but, you know, it's Sunday. It's nerves flowing. I bet all these drivers have nerves, so I'm ready to see what these boys can bring.
Yeah.
Man, I second that, Byron. You know, it's like I didn't have a whole lot of nerves just a few minutes ago, and I'm having all kinds of technical difficulties on my end. Can't get my camera to work. But hey, we're back. You know, we had the selection show in mid-January, and I think that was just awesome. But, you know, sadly, we did have a couple drivers even after the selection show that did drop out, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit, I'm sure. But we didn't, you know, we filled in with some other drivers. I'm excited for this season, and I mean, an average strength of field of over 3,800. I mean, that's amazing. And we got 24 drivers registered for tonight. We're right at that 3,800 threshold. We're in for some great racing this season.
So we do want to talk about a little bit of what happened last season, and then we'll transpire over into this season, Season 6. So let's talk a little bit about the end of last season. We had a really good points race there at the end of the season. You had Sean Stevens and Brian Johnson. They were up top there, tied. Sean Stevens, of course, as everyone knows, won the championship, but Double Deuce getting second, third, and fourth in the point standings, so they have to feel pretty good coming into tonight. But what are your thoughts coming out of last season and going into this season? Do you think we'll see Double Deuce up front a lot on this one, or is it going to be a little bit different?
Coming out of last season, you saw a lot more of the newer drivers putting it up towards the front. Max Stambaugh had a great end of the season. I mean, Double Deuce was up there. Been watching them in some other series, and they're running very well. Brandon Boyles, especially, and Zach Dykstra have been running very well. So I can see those two being up front. And I mean, Sean Stevens, what can we say? He ran a very, very great season. Had some bad luck through the middle, finished very strong to take that championship. So I'm excited to see what he's bringing to the table this year, or this season, I should say, and see what he can do and try to go repeat if he can.
Chris?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I think the team aspect of the league this season is actually going to be pretty neat. We've got an incentive that's just come in here late through Red Line Racing Designs. They're putting up $50 for a team standing. So if there's a driver out there that doesn't have a team and you want to team up with somebody else that's in the league that's maybe a single, go ahead and do that so that you can be qualified for the $50 there in the team standings. Nobody with a single, it's unfortunate, but we're not going to allow any single car teams in here. So I think the whole team aspect, though, we got the two road pros, Tilly and Kaiser coming in and their teammates. You got Stambaugh and Burkhart that are teammates. You got LGR that's added 2 team members to their team. So, and then Double Deuce, still going to have 3 drivers. And Dykstra, he was a hot driver there after the first 3 races last season. He probably could have won the championship. And then you got not in the team aspect of it, but Gavin Chatham. He ended up getting a late win there at the end of the season, and I got more to say about him later on in the show. But I think he's going to turn some heads.
So, Chris, you're talking about teams. You're the owner of Miller Time Motorsports. Who do you got in this? You got Larry.
we got Larry. But
and what happened to Troy? So Troy's not going to be running with us, correct?
No. So in the selection show, we had actually picked Troy and Larry. That was our 2 Miller Time Motorsports members. We were pretty excited about going into the season and allowing Troy to have full time this season and maybe bring home that championship. He has some stuff going on. He's not going to make it. But I am excited to announce something that just came about today. Last night and today, we've been working on this. We are excited to announce that Miller Time Motorsports has teamed up with Chris Sign.
That's awesome. I'm really excited about it. I've worked hand in hand with Chris Sign whenever he first kind of came into the league. He wanted some training sessions with me. We got some training sessions. Really, really good driver. He's clean, so I'm excited for that. And what's your expectations out of your Miller Time boys? They going to take it home?
Well, there's definitely some tough competition out there for them guys, but hopefully they're competitive, and I think we will be. And, we have the advantage of all of us that do the admin, Josh, Byron up here, Larry. We get together nightly. Ryan, you're at work, but we practice, and I think it's making us all better. And we had Chris in that's got a pretty high I rating. He's got a higher I rating than any of us. Maybe Josh has got him. I don't know. They're pretty similar. But we can learn a lot from him, and hopefully he can learn something from us.
Absolutely. So yeah, that team aspect is going to be really fun this season for sure. Watching those team aspects is going to be one that I'm definitely going to keep an eye on as the broadcaster and watching these things. So let's look at the schedule, because we're going in here to season 6. We know where we're at right now. We're at Volusia Speedway tonight. So at Volusia Speedway, we've got some big hitters coming in here at Volusia Speedway. And one that's kind of on my mind is, well, we got Jason Randolph that's coming back into the season for season 6. But also, you got Brandon Voiles, that's King Brandon Voiles, and he won at Volusia Speedway, and it's pretty good there. What do you think you're going to see tonight here at Volusia?
I remember when we did the testing here with the setups that we are running tonight. And it was kind of left to everybody to play along and run those setups. And I watched Zach Dykstra go from 7th to 2nd in that race, was able to move through traffic. And it was interesting to see how he was able to move, along with some of the other Outlaws and the All-Star drivers, because it was open to everyone. Now, I will say I ran some officials this week and ran into some of the other guys in the league that were pretty quick. So I think we're going to see a whole new look when it comes to running these laps early. I think we're going to get a little bit more aggressive driving and a lot more side by side, but I also think we're going to stay as clean as possible.
Okay. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I think the nerves are going to get to some people early on as far as just trying to keep it clean. I mean, we're going to announce some more stuff, but we are still going to be looking at the incident points per driver as far as the qualification for next season. But I think everybody's just going to try to keep it clean at first. These setups are very user friendly, so they're going to play with it a little bit. I think it's going to take them about a lap or two to realize they can pretty much throw it anywhere. But hopefully the track wears in really good and we slick it off pretty good by the end. I think with these setups, it becomes real racy when it's slicked off. So one thing we are doing is after the practice sessions are over, it's going to be carryover from that point on. So a little bit different this year. We will just run a few hot laps out on the groups. I'll go over that in the drivers meeting. And then they're going to go out and run a few laps, and then we're going to have qualifying, and it's carrying over all night long. So I think we'll have plenty of chances to get it slicked off.
Okay, and before I move on to, I want to move on to power rankings here because this is going to be pre-season power rankings. But before I do, we do have some sponsors out there. Get Upside's one of those sponsors that is going to be with us all season long. And this is a free app that you can download, save up to 25 cents off per gallon, an extra 15 cents per gallon cash back when you use this code. So if 53 is a reference code, you'll get an extra 15 cents off per gallon. That app is completely free. I use it every single day, and man, it's awesome. You can really rack up the money and save. So Get Upside. So let's talk about the power rankings, because these power rankings is pretty interesting, because the power rankings are just based on guys that has raced with us in the past. So it doesn't include anybody new that's came in like Clayton Tilley or any of these guys. They're not on there. So you look at it, and in that number 10 spot in the power rankings, you have Jason Nygaard. Jason Nygaard with ABR. In that 9th spot, you got Gavin Chatham. We talked about Gavin just a brief moment, but I know Chris has got some more things he's wanting to talk about Gavin Chatham. In the 8th position, Randy Shreves, LGR Motorsports. In 7th would have been Troy, so he's going to be scratched there. You'll see it after week 1. These things will move. Ben Wart in that 6th position. 5th is Brandon Surratt. 4th is Max Stanball. 3rd would have been Brian Johnson, but again, Brian Johnson is a scratch for the season, so he'll move. And Zach Dykstra's number 2, and of course, Sean Stevens number 1, which makes a lot of sense being the winner of last season. So that's your power rankings. Anything there that you guys are shocked about?
I'm shocked that Troy and Brian left us.
Yeah.
But hey, they got things going on. They're busy. We all got things. Hopefully at some point they'll be back.
Yeah, so these power rankings, how they are done is every week after the race is over, every admin from Miller Time Motorsports sends in their top 5, and then we use the average of everything, and then we get your power rankings up there. So try to get inside that top 10, and you'll see yourself on the pre-race show and the broadcast on the power rankings. Wow. We got a lot to still cover in this show. We've got 3 drivers that we want to talk to, have invited. Let me check and see if they are available. Brandon Boyles being one. We wanted to get talk to him. Jason Randolph was another one. And Tyler Street is another one. And we've got all of them, while Chris Miller is watching some action movies behind his. Sorry,
that's what I was trying. Hey, that's what I was trying to fix before we, went live here, and I screwed it up. So hey, we'll get better.
I like the action movies. All right, so guys, Byron, I'll let you pick. Who do you want? Do you want Brandon Boyles? Do you want Tyler Street, or do you want Jason Randolph in here first to talk to?
It's been a while. I actually haven't talked to him, on a broadcast. So let's get Jason Randolph in here.
Jason Randolph. We'll get him in here. Jason Randolph, do you got a copy? Do you got a copy, Jason?
Yep, I got a copy.
There he is. So, Jason, we brought you in here because I really wanted to know what brought you back. I mean, you won in season 4, and then you're like, yeah, I won. I'll get out in season 5, and here you're back in season 6. What brought you back?
Me and the girlfriend had a baby there, so dealing with the newborn didn't allow a whole lot of time for racing, but he's getting a little bit older, and figured I'd be able to squeeze in an hour here on Sunday night, so might as well come back, have some fun.
Sure. And so what are you most excited about for season 6?
Looks like it's going to be pretty tough with all the drivers in here, so it should just be some good racing, and hopefully we'll be able to throw in top 10s and be somewhere near the points there.
Byron, what do you got for him?
You know, it's been a while since you've actually raced with us. What have you been doing to fill that time from the end of season 4 through season 5 and to now?
Really just been hanging out with the new baby there, and he's been keeping us busy, so I haven't raced a whole lot. I ran an official yesterday, and it wasn't too great of a strength of field, but was able to win that, so it felt good. And then did a practice race earlier with Voiles, and I think I made about halfway through 30 laps and then destroyed the car on the inside wall in turn 1, so that's interesting.
I think we've all been there before, just pushing it a little too hard, but
Especially Byron.
Let's talk about Troy last year near, but yeah, how excited is it to be actually racing 2 pros this season?
Yeah, that's great. Tilly is something else, I guess. I've ran some leagues with him before. He's one of the guys always on the mic. He's funny. And Ross is a good friend. I met him at the Knoxville Nationals and hung out quite a bit. So looking forward to racing those guys up front and see how it turns out. Usually it's like a 410 that we're racing, so it'll be different here in the 305.
That's all I got for him, Chris.
Well, Jason, congrats on the baby, first of all. And, hey, you got 3 career wins with us. And back in season 4, I just want to talk about your stats there for a minute. You had 2 wins in that season. You won one race in season 2 also. You actually beat Ryan out in that one. He remembers it. But in season 4, you had 2 wins. You had an average starting position of 10th and an average finishing position of 3rd. And actually, at one point, to start the season, you had 8 straight top 5s. Do you think that's even possible for anybody to do with this, with the lineup we have this season?
Yeah, I think so. You got to probably be a little bit lucky with the qualifying there and not get put back with the invert. So that'll be tough with the quality drivers. But if you get, near the front of your heat race and just be able to hold on, you'll be sitting pretty good there for the future. So, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, so, we're running a little bit different setup this season. It's a modified setup. It's not the iRacing setup that we're always used to. But I think that's going to change some of that, but I do agree with you. I think it's going to have to be a top qualifying spot. It's going to have to be a good heat. And put yourself in position. Hopefully you're up front there. So what's your prediction as far as you? How many wins you going to have this season and how many top 5s? 10 races.
I don't know if I can squeeze any wins out there or not. Hopefully USA, I usually do pretty good there on officials with running the bottom there. But again, things kind of changed there with the new tire model and stuff. So I'm not really too sure, but should be able to put in some top 5s, probably at least, we'll say 4 at least.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that at the end of the season. But good luck to you.
Yeah, and also the pill draw is quite a bit different too. Instead of everyone calling at the same time, so throw a different little wrench in there, and we'll see how that works out.
He's got a point. I forgot about that he ain't get to be a part of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes a little bit different. All right, Jason, good luck to you tonight in the opening night here at Volusia.
All right. Hopefully, I'm talking to you later.
All right, we'll see you. All right, that's something else that Jason Randolph, a guy that was pretty dominant and won several races in Miller Time Motorsports, says, I don't know if I can squeak out a win this season. Oh, we've got a stacked field for this season. I'm pumped. It's crazy. I know just myself, and I know you guys too, because I'm the one that puts the picks in. We changed your picks multiple times because you can't figure it out. I mean, you literally have 25 guys that could easily be inside that top 3. So tough. All right, I want to talk to Tyler Street now. Tyler Street being a driver that was new, not promoted in, I guess recruited in, I should say. Let's see if Tyler Street's got a copy. Do you got a copy?
I think I heard him there over my loud movie in the background or something.
Man, we can't hear anything. We got you. I was just wondering, Chris, what are you watching back here? I think I hear girls screaming and everything else like a horror movie back here.
I think it is a horror movie. I don't know what it is, but it is pretty loud at times.
Hey, Tyler, I'm excited to see you in this season 6. It's going to be a fun one. I didn't realize that you were so local to my area, and found out that you race down here at Atomic Speed where my local track is. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. I'm going to have to get to know this guy. So I'm like, let's bring him into the pre-race show. And so when did you get into iRacing, and when did you get in real life racing?
Let's see. So I'll answer the first one. iRacing, 2 years ago, I think.
Okay.
I think it's been about 2 years now. I got it for Christmas, and it was just one of those things. I kept seeing it all broadcasted, all over Facebook, and I had a couple of racing buddies that were already in it. And I was like, man, I'd love to get into it, just never had the money. And then my parents and my girlfriend helped pitch in some money and got that stuff all for Christmas. And then if you look at my setup now, it's a little overboard than what it should be, basically. So, but that's that. And then I've been into racing since I was 5 years old. Started with go-karts, went to mini sprints, did mini sprints a couple years at Waynesfield, and then got into 305s and ran 305s at Attica and Fremont. Did a little traveling with it as well, and then 2 years ago got into 410s and just won my first 410 championship last year also.
Yeah, so I seen that, and I'm like, man, I've been to Atomic, but I just, maybe I just didn't remember this guy. And so I asked a couple guys that normally go to Atomic like every single weekend, and I said, do you know a guy named Tyler Street? They're like, oh yeah, he's a sprint car driver, like he's pretty good. And I'm like, okay, cool. I said, you'll have to tune into Dirt ITV. He's going to be racing with us in iRacing. They're like, well, that's pretty sweet. So I'm excited to have you along for the ride. What's your expectations coming into your first season?
Really, hopefully some top 10s here and some top 5s. And I know that you said Tilly was in here, so I've raced with him in a lot of the 410 and 360 officials, and those guys are fast. They are all fast. I mean, I have my background in racing, but man, it just to come from that to iRacing, it makes it, a little bit of a difference between the two of it. And man, I don't know, just trying to hopefully some good finishes, finish every single race, not get wrecked out or something like that, or I make a mistake, just little things like that.
So do you have any kind of expectations as far as you want to try to get yourself a first win this season or a first top 5? Or is there anything, any kind of goals out there?
For sure, is the top one is to get the wins and they keep winning and keep going. But I think I'm gonna start a little smaller and get my top 5s, get a first top 5 and go from there. Then it'll be a big goal for me.
Yeah, so the first time I really seen you in iRacing, I actually raced you at True Grit. We was racing at Knoxville. You was leading. I passed you towards the end of the race. You were starting to catch up to me. Do you remember that race? We was racing together?
I do.
He's like, I do. Let's just move on.
Knoxville is just not my place. I struggle for sure. So I have some good moments, and then when it gets all the way to the wall, I'm clueless by the time it gets to the wall.
Gotcha. Byron, what do you got for Tyler?
You said you've ran Waynesfield, and that's my area. I mean, I've never actually been to Waynesfield. With all this real life driving that you do, how do you think that's going to help, you know, build more confidence coming against these, pro drivers, some of these other guys that actually run in real life?
For sure, that's a lot more confidence just of knowing I have the background for it already. So that helps a lot just going into iRacing, and I use VR, so I try to get as much as virtual as I can for it. So it helps out a lot.
My kind of guy. I use VR myself, and honestly, I think it gives an edge, especially being able to see more around you. Other than, getting that first win, as far as tonight, who do you think, if you couldn't pick yourself, who do you think would win?
I probably got to go with my boy Max Stambaugh. He's one of those that's always on here on iRacing all the time, and he's good as well. So I've had some good battles with him in real life and on iRacing, and we've butted heads before, but we're good friends still.
Chris?
Well, I want to say you just mentioned Stamball, so he is the only driver tonight that did not draw a pill and is not registered. So you might be able to avoid him. He's been down in Florida. He's been down in Florida running in real life all week. I think he's on his way home from there today, so I don't know that he's going to make it. But I wanted to ask you, how much have you raced in real life with Max Stamball or Daniel Burkhart?
Daniel, big time. Max is every so often. He's mostly in 360 stuff up in Michigan, and he'll come down for the Attica and the 410 stuff. But Daniel and I are really good friends. Him and I are probably, I would say, easily best friends for sure. For at the racetrack, on and off the track, and I give him a lot of some helps and tips to help at the racetrack, and he still gives me some little things, so it helps out a lot. So we're good friends all around.
Well, that's really cool, and that leads me to my next question. So, your teammates with Colter West, Randy Shreves, and Steve Ogeson on here, at least in our league. So there's the four of you guys. But you're saying you knew Burkhart. So how much had you heard of Miller Time Motorsports before I reached out to you that morning?
I heard some. I think I remember seeing some of it posted on Facebook. Some people sharing it on and off. But really, I have not really heard much about it. I think I heard a little bit, and I tried joining in. I thought I tried joining in, but I wasn't 100%. Maybe I think with my work schedule and race schedule kicking in and that stuff, it makes it hard for me to do a lot of, leagues and that stuff for it.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm glad you could join us, and we won't run it in the summer, so hopefully you can stick with us this whole season, and we'll finish up by May 1st. We do have our Kings of Miller Time. That's a paid event that we run every season. That's kind of cool. We do have that on May the 15th, so it's 2 Sundays after our season ends. But so hopefully you can run in that. But again, I'm happy to have you on board. I all your teammates are really good, and it's cool that Max and Daniel, and you're here in Ohio, so we're going to meet up. We're all going to the Kings Royal. We're all going to meet up, and we'll get to meet.
That sounds good. I don't know yet. We're still talking about the possibly racing the Kings Royal, but it might be more leaning towards the 4 Crown event more than anything. But Kings Royal, top of the list for me for sure.
That's awesome.
Well, hey, if you don't race it and you're there, we're still gonna get together. We're camping all week, so.
I'll be there no matter what, so it don't matter.
I was gonna say, I think there's a commercial out there, and it's a taco commercial versus soft shells versus hard shells. And it ends with, "Why not both?"
Yeah, why not? Do it. All right, Tyler, we're going to let you go. Good luck in season 6. It was good talking to you.
Thank you.
All right, last driver to talk to, and then we're going to get over to picks and championship picks. Brandon Voiles, and let me bring him down in here. Brandon Voiles. Voiles, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
So, Brandon, I chose you to be on the pre-race show because I wanted you to be the spokesperson of Double Deuce Motorsports. And you finished 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the point standings. That had to feel pretty good coming off of Season 5. Can you do it again in season 6?
Yeah, it felt good to have the guys up there, battling for a championship, and hope we can get it done again this year. We got Zach with us running the full season, and we've lost Justin and Brian, so that's unfortunate. But I think the 3 guys we got can get it done.
Okay. So let me ask you about tonight here at Volusia Speedway. I kind of opened up the show and talked about you maybe a contender here because you seem to be really good here at Volusia, and you were the first Kings of Miller time, and it came here at Volusia Speedway. So what is your expectations tonight?
Expectations to get another win. If I can keep my nose clean and get a good qualifying spot, and hopefully we can get that done.
Okay. Byron, what do you got for Brandon?
Well, Mr. Boyles, we do a lot of racing week in, week out with each other. As far as the team goes, if, Zach does beat you, are you going to kick him off the team or keep him around for a little bit longer?
We'll keep him around for just a little longer. We'll see how many times he beats me.
Now, I know you yourself are running some momentum here with winning some other leagues outside of Miller time in a 410 with Zach right behind you. Are we going to see a lot of battling between the double deuce drivers? Are we going to see some team orders come in, especially if we do get to see a great points battle like we did last year?
And once the green flag drops, it's every man for itself. Try not to run over each other, but we're all there to do the same job, and that's win.
All right.
Yeah.
Chris?
So, Brandon, I got to ask, and you probably hate this question, but I mean, you are the winner of the first Kings of Miller time, so you are King Brandon Voiles, the first. It was here at Volusia, but that's unfortunately been your only win in Miller time. And I don't know if it was just because it was a paid event and you paid somebody off. I don't know. But what's it going to take for you to get that first win outside of the Kings of Miller time?
Yeah, last season was kind of rough, man. It was dodging wrecks and getting tangled up and stuff. If I can stay out of that, I think I've got a good chance to run up front with them.
Okay, so that's going to lead me to my next question because, yeah, you're right. I think last year was a little tough. That's when we implemented the incidents per lap. I think we've really got a stellar field here today or this season. You've been with us since season 2, kind of off and on right at the start, but nonetheless back all the way to season 2. So how do you feel about the level of competition now?
It's never been greater, man. I mean, 2 pro drivers, I rating almost at 4,000. I run with these guys weekly, and they're all great drivers. So it's going to be a great season.
So I got to ask you before we go, because we're getting ready to make our picks, and I'm just going to ask you because you've been with us for a long time. Who's the champion this year? Other
Me,
than you,
of course.
All right. Well, I knew you were going to go with that, and I'm fine with that because you know what? Double Deuce has. I mean, you guys are right up there all the time, so it's a good chance that you might. But if it's not you, who's it going to be?
To say, with the level of competition that's in here, one slight mistake can throw it all away, as we saw last season in the last race. So it's whoever can be the smoothest and the cleanest. I think they're going to come out with the championship.
You got one name? You got to give me a name. I'm going to make you give me a name other than you.
I'm going to have to say Zach, man. He's been putting in the time. He's fast. He's smooth. And I think if he can stay out of trouble, I think he's got a very good chance to win it.
Fantastic.
I like it. Thank you. I knew you were going to go with your teammate.
I was going to say, I knew exactly where you were sending that.
All right. I couldn't help. I was during that interview, I was laughing because I seen Byron had a cat over top of his head. I seen the tail waggling, and I'm like, what in the world is that back here? And then I figured it out.
I told you before we started this that it was going to happen.
I was not laughing at you, Brandon Voiles. I was laughing at Byron. He's the laughing joke all the time. Brandon, good luck to you and your team through season 6.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Any remarks we need to make before we go into picks? Byron?
They're just lucky Steve's not out here to pick anymore.
Yeah, but we got Byron. Chris?
I just want everybody to know we did get a late sponsorship. Also came about in the last week from Daniel Burkhart Racing and his sponsors, which is Lepo Rents, Jake's Electric, and I think I don't want to say it wrong. Is it GNR Drywall or G&D? GNR, I believe. So GNR Drywall. So thanks for them coming on board. But that is going to allow us to keep the Dash for Cash, which will be ran before the feature race. We'll do the Dash for Cash just a little bit different this season. We're going to have the top 2 from each heat race. We'll make the Dash. The top qualifier does not automatically get the feature, and they do not automatically make the Dash. So they have to race their way through it to the heat races. But 8 cars in the Dash as long as we have 4 heats. And it'll be a totally random generator that we will do right before the Dash, or we'll do it at the conclusion of the 4th heat race. And I'll get that posted out there on what everybody's going to have or where they're at in the starting position for the Dash. But we'll be $5 to the top qualifier, and we'll be $5 to the Dash winner.
Fantastic. All right. Let's get over to the fun part. Let's do some picks. How about it?
Oh, the picks. I still don't feel confident about this. But, hey, I'm going to roll now. We're not changing them now.
Here we go.
Earlier season. Mine are all right.
Woo! Here we go.
Well, just before we get started, I know last year we kind of got away from the points championship because Steve left, Byron joined. Although, all we can really say about last season is we don't know who won the points, but I did pick the champion.
We'll give it to you.
So I think I'm 2 for 2 in the 2 broadcast seasons. So I'm pretty sure I got the champion again tonight. Just to let you guys know before we get started.
Yeah, okay.
The question is, do you have the right winner tonight to start off your hot streak of this season? So let's start with number 3 pick. Chris, what do you got as your number 3 pick here at Volusia Speedway?
Well, he finished second last season at Volusia. Finished the season with basically 6 straight top 5s. Other than the very last race, he got wrecked on the last lap. So he ran a test and tune with us the other night, like Byron already mentioned. He went from 7th to 2nd. I'm taking Zach Dykstra to finish 3rd, and I think he's got the potential to even be better than that. But I wanted him in that top 3. I think he's a guaranteed point.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach Dykstra finished well in the point standings. He's finished well here at Volusia. It's a great pick. Byron, what do you got as your number 3 pick?
Wait, hang on, I need to check something. Chris, you outside my house? I swear you're reading my notes. I mean, how can you not go with Zach Dykstra? He's been magnificent outside of Miller time with the way he's been running. Comes into test and tune and goes 7th to 2nd. I mean, he's pulling all this momentum in. We talked to Brandon Boyles. He's a good driver. He's a clean driver. And he's absolutely hilarious. I love talking to Zach Dykstra. I love running events off the dirt with him. And I think he has a good chance to finish 3rd tonight, if not even further ahead.
Love it.
Me too. I can't go wrong.
Guys, what do I got as my number 3 pick?
Let's just pull out the Rolodex. Jason Randolph, Ross Kaiser, Coulter West, Jason Randolph.
Chris?
I mean, I'm following suit. You got Zach Dykstra.
All right, guys. Do not fall out of your seat right here whenever I throw this number 3 pick down. But you have to hear me out on it. My number 3 pick tonight, Clayton Tilley, is going to be 3rd tonight. I will get into more detail about why I think Clayton Tilley's going to be in 3rd after I reveal my number 2 pick here in just a few minutes. Chris, number 2 pick for you.
My number 2 pick, I'm going to say his name here first, and I want to tell you why. So I'm taking Gavin Chatham.
Okay. Gavin Chatham. Out of all the names in this league, you're picking Gavin Chatham. I get it. He won, and he was, good, but, really?
Did you look him up? What notes you got on Gavin for this?
Not much.
I'm gonna tell you why he's gonna be second, and he's another name that I considered for the championship. I think that might be a little far fetched this season, but let me tell you, Gavin, he got a late win. What was it? With 2 or 3 races left last season, he got a late win at Lanier. This guy was promoted from the All-Stars mid-season, which we're not doing this year, but mid-season comes into the Outlaws. His first race was at Volusia. He started 6th, ran really well here, but I think he was timid because he didn't want to wreck anybody. He finished 15th. But what really got me was, one, in his officials this week at Volusia, 13 races started. He's got 12 top 5s and 7 wins, all in the top split. But the other thing that got me is we focus ourselves around, the officials and your I rating. We want good I rating. When he joined Miller Time and went from the All-Stars to the Outlaws, his I rating was 3,700.
Mm-hmm.
Today, he's just under 5,000. So since mid-November,
wow,
he's went from 37 to 5,000. He's putting in the work, and it's going to pay off.
Okay. Good explanation, Chris. I like it. You did your homework. I didn't. Whatever. Byron, what do you got?
I never do homework. What do you mean? I got to pull this up because it was a last-minute change. You talk about us coming in here, it's hard picks. It was a last-minute change. But, we did talk to a teammate of his, and I have a good feeling that, he's going to be out there, but I don't think he's going to be able to put it in victory lane. And, I'm going to get his name here so I don't mess it up. Coulter West.
Okay. I haven't seen a whole lot of Coulter West, so I don't know. I can't really say yes, he's going to be there, or no, he's not going to be there. It'll be interesting to watch a newcomer coming in and getting in second. I think that's hard. I think it's really hard as a newcomer to come in and get inside this top 3, but you never know. It can happen for sure. I've got Clayton Tilley there.
Coulter West does have the 3rd pill draw, so he is set up to have a decent qualifying spot, and right. You never know. I mean, it gets put in position. It might be a good pick. I don't know much about him or Tyler Street as far as watching them on iRacing, so that'll be new to me.
All right, guys. My number 2 pick. Who's it going to be?
Well, you said it involved Clayton Tilley and why he's going to finish 3rd. And I remember the one time that I did get a run against him, his teammate was really quick up there with him. So I have a feeling you have Ross Kaiser there, and they're just going to be racing each other a little hard.
Okay. Chris.
I don't know who to take here, to be honest, but I think I'm going to roll with Sean Stevens, our champion from last season. Nobody's even mentioned him yet. It's a champion, and nobody said his name.
No one has said anything about Sean Stevens, and I'm going to not say anything about Sean Stevens because that's not who's number 2 right here. My number 2 spot is going to be belonging to Mr. Jason Nygaard. Jason Nygaard, I think, is going to have a heck of a battle with Clayton Tilley, and I think that is the reason why neither one of these guys are going to win, because my winner, I believe, is going to open up a little bit of a gap on these two and be able to get that win. So I think these guys, Jason Nygaard and Clayton Tilley, I think they will battle a little on hard tonight. Maybe a couple sliders back and forth, and it'll let that lead car kind of get out in front and be a little bit more comfortable and not have the pressure of Clayton Tilley behind you. Because if you have that pressure behind you, it's Clayton Tilley, a pro driver. Who is going to be able to maintain that? Well, I think these guys are going to battle it out and duke it out, and this is where I'm placing them. Clayton Tilley 3 and Jason Nygaard number 2. Chris, number
that
1
is a
pick.
That is a really good pick, and I appreciate your explanation. But Jason was good when he ran with us. He's got a victory. I think he's going to show him. But my number 1 pick, and I like to try to start the season with, getting the lead on you guys as far as the picks goes, because that's the first season I fell way behind. I've kind of showed you guys since then how smart I am. So I'm going to go with the obvious. I'm going to take Clayton Tilley, and I'm going to tell you a little bit. One, I mean, world-class pro. It speaks for itself. The guy's got a 75/98 I rating. Unbelievable. But, you know, the thing is I think it's going to be tough for him this season just because I think he does probably have a little bit of a target on his back because some of the drivers that have been with us are probably wanting to show him that, hey, I can race with you. You know, and who knows what's going to happen. So you might be right when you said, you might get tangled up or the other guy's going to stretch from a little bit. But Clayton Tilley's going to win it. And I'm going to get a good start to the season and be out in the lead in these picks.
Okay. Why do you feel that Clayton Tilley is the obvious pick?
Well, I mean, just because world-class pro for one, but we did run just after the selection show. We ran a Cedar Lake race with our setups that we're running this season. He started on the pole. You were in that race, Ryan. You gave him a run for it, but you weren't able to get around him. He won the feature. That showed me in that race kind of where he was at, and being it was a fixed setup, and I think he out-qualified by everybody by a tenth of a second or more, and I was just shocked.
Okay. I will say to all the drivers out there, if you're scared of Clayton Tilley, he is beatable. He just don't make mistakes in the exhibition race whenever I was behind him. That's all I needed to get there, but I wasn't able to get there. So Clayton Tilley does not make very many mistakes, and if he does, you better capitalize on it very, very quickly. Byron, who do you got number one?
You know, I want to talk about Sean Stevens real quick because I do have the broadcast pulled up on my second monitor, and he's saying to Chris, that's a good pick. You know, there's a lot of names out there that you could have used here, and I'm shocked I don't see Ross Kaiser on this board yet. You know, Sean Stevens isn't on the board yet. Brandon Voiles isn't on the board yet. But I think Chris is onto something. He's quick. I'm rolling with the big cat tonight.
Clayton Tilley, another one. Well, it's obvious I can't pick Clayton again. I've already picked him third, so he's not a clean sweep up there on the top. Guys, who do I have as the number one spot?
I was listening closely to what you said during that second pick. I want to break it down real quick. You said that these two are going to get into it and it's going to let somebody go. That somebody isn't Ross Kaiser. You would have mentioned that it was a pro. I think you have Zach Dykstra up here because of how quick he has been and how fast he can be.
Okay. Chris?
So, I hate to follow Byron here, but don't have Zach Dykstra up there yet, and I would be shocked if you didn't take a Double Deuce Motorsports in the top three, considering they went 1, 2, 3 last season at Volusia. Fourth was Troy Flero, which was our teammate, and we know he was fast. So we know Double Deuce is going to be quick. Brandon Voiles got the Hard Charger award there in that race. I think you're going with Zach Dykstra here too.
Okay. Guys, this was hard. This is the one that I kind of had to look at qualifying. Where are people going to place, and where are they going to place in the heat race? Where are they going to start in a feature? I had all those things going through my mind. But it came down to Zach Dykstra. You guys are right. Zach Dykstra, I think, is going to get it done. I think he's going to get himself a win early in this season, and I think he's got a real good shot at maybe even winning a championship like we've kind of all talked about early on. But I think Zach Dykstra can get it done, and Brandon Voiles kind of said that too. He's worked really, really hard. We'll see, and I think that's the one thing I said there. If Clayton Tilley's behind Zach Dykstra, I've seen Dykstra make mistakes when someone's behind him, and someone like a pro driver like Clayton Tilley, that could knock him off his course and make mistakes, and Clayton Tilley would capitalize on it and would get the win like you guys are calling. But if this battle happens here in second or third, someone in a heated battle, it may not be Jason Nygaard, but someone can hold Clayton Tilley up just a little bit, I think that winner could be Zach Dykstra.
Good pick. Good pick.
All right. Last part of the segment, and then we're going to close it out because we are getting ready to open up. We want to get through our picks for the season. I want to know, starting with Byron, what is your championship pick?
So it was definitely a tough one to pick because we have all these good drivers coming in. Looking back at last season, if you don't count the fact that Sean Stevens came late in season 4, he was a newcomer to the league in season 5, and he won it. With that knowledge, I have a feeling these drivers that we keep recruiting are just getting better and better every season.
Yeah.
So how can I not roll with the new guy here? And I'm going to roll with my winner tonight. I'm taking the big cat, Clayton Tilley. With what he's doing out there on the pro circuit, I feel like he's going to be able to hone himself in. You said it yourself. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I think he's going to not only just win a couple races, he could win 8 or 9 this season. And he's going to be the toughest person to beat.
Yeah. I will go next, and Chris, I will let you finish it out on your last pick for the final championship. You're normally always the one that goes first. I'll let you go last on this one. Who do you guys think I am picking for my championship?
I think you're going to roll with Dykstra or Russ Kaiser.
Wow. I don't know. I think you're going to go with Nygaard.
Okay. All right. I said I wasn't going to talk about him, but it's time to talk about him now. And why not? We're going to talk about Sean Stevens now. And
You're going repeat.
I'm going repeat here. I know, it's crazy. I'm going repeat here, but I like Zach Dykstra, and he was probably a close one that I would want to put in there. And I think Byron's really close there with the Clayton Tilley. But if anybody is going to be able to get it done, I feel like Sean Stevens is the one that can get it done, because I feel like Sean Stevens, when someone beats him, he don't like it. And he'll do anything, and he'll practice for 24 hours, 48 hours. It don't matter. He wants to work until he beats that person. And I think Sean Stevens is the only guy that would put in the time to try to win this championship, because it's going to take some major work. Chris, what's your champion?
I'm going to tell you what. Your pick is good because Sean just won it. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Okay. I want to let you know though, and I have to tell the show, we're big on I rating. Sean is now the 16th best I rating in this league.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got what it takes, especially with no teammates out there. Wyobi's on his own this time around. I mean, this season. So I did have him in my list of people that I would consider for a championship. I'm not going to lie to you, but I don't know if he can do it. I also had, not to give my pick away, I had Tilley in there, as in my pick. But I also think Tilley's probably a pretty busy guy, and there's a chance that he's going to miss a Sunday or two. And without a drop week, I think that's going to be questionable. I think you're right. He could go out there and win 7, 8, 9 wins. It's just a matter if he's there that many times. Max Stanball, another one I would have considered. But real life racing is going to probably get in the way there. It looks like it's probably going to tonight, so I didn't consider him. But I'm telling you what, I'm going with Zach Dykstra. Okay, Zach Dykstra just put his first full season in, and he came in week 1. He didn't get a race with us the last few weeks of the regular season of season 4. He came in, it took him 3 races, and I don't have it jotted down, but I think he had a 13th, a 11th, and a 12th before he ended up getting a top 10. So the first 3 races of his career with Miller Time here, he didn't even get a top 10. He goes on to finish the season and 4th in the points, only 63 points back. And what he did at the end of that season, having 6 straight top 5s until that last race, I think he's going to be tough to beat. And I know he's going to be here every single week.
To caveat on that, you talk about how it took him 3 races. He was poised to win at Williams Grove. I think week 2 it was. And, we all miscalculated on fuel. of what we needed to put in those cars in this fixed setup. And I think that was on us. We let him down, or else he would have won it, and we could have been saying, he was a week 2 winner.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you are completely right. And you know what? And he doesn't have that win yet, right? I don't think he ever got one last season. I know he didn't. I'm looking at the standings now, but he probably should have won 2 of them last year. Yep. So I think he's going to make the turn here. Whether he's better than Clayton Tilley or Ross Kaiser, maybe all season long max, I just don't think they're going to make every single race.
All right, guys. Good picks. I love them. We'll probably be looking back at these picks at the end of season 6. It's what we normally do, just to see if we're right or not. And so it's time to get over to Volusia Speedway. Thanks for watching. We'll see you over there.
To all the drivers and fans, thanks for watching the pre-race show right here live on Dirt ITV, the home of Miller Time Motorsports. Become a supporter of Dirt ITV is easy. Simply go to paypal.com, PayPal me/Dirt ITV. Any donation is greatly appreciated. And now it's time for